My people, have you ever heard of a story where pain and privilege met on the same road? Where a girl with nothing but the streets beneath her feet crossed paths with a girl who had everything except peace. This is not just a story of wealth and poverty, but a story of resilience, courage, and the bond that can rise above the walls of class and prejudice. Tonight, I bring you the unforgettable story of Favour, a brilliant street girl, and Danielle, the billionaire's daughter whose life was falling apart. What began as a secret friendship soon became a journey that would change both their lives forever. And when Danielle's powerful father discovered the truth, what he did next left everyone speechless. Sit back, my people. Listen closely and don't forget. Stories like this remind us that destiny does not ask about your background, it only asks if you are ready. Let's begin. Favour had never known the warmth of a real home. Her world was the busy, dusty streets of Lagos, where the honking of Kiki and the cries of hawkers became her lullaby each night. At 12, she was sharper than most adults, her eyes carrying the weight of battles no child should ever fight. She sold groundnuts at traffic lights, dodging between cars with fearless speed, her bare feet hardened by the unforgiving asphalt. But beneath her rough exterior, Favour carried a spark, a sharp mind and a hunger for knowledge that nothing could extinguish. Every evening, when the city's chaos began to settle, she sneaked into a corner of a local church where discarded books were stored. She would flip through pages she barely understood, teaching herself one difficult word after another. The world called her a street girl, but in her heart she knew she was more. She just needed one chance. Danielle's life, on the other hand, was a golden cage. Her father, Mr. Williams, was a billionaire, owner of one of Nigeria's biggest oil companies. She lived in a mansion with guards at every gate, ate meals prepared by chefs from abroad, and attended a private school where tuition could buy a small house. But behind the marble walls and shiny floors, Danielle's life was far from perfect. Her father was too busy for affection, her mother too consumed with appearances, and her so-called friends too fake to be trusted. Worse, Danielle was struggling. Numbers and words twisted on her exam sheets, and no matter how hard she tried, she always failed. Teachers shook their heads, whispering that the billionaire's daughter wasn't bright enough. And though she smiled in public, Danielle cried in secret, drowning in loneliness and shame. Their paths collided on a humid Friday afternoon. Danielle's car had broken down near a crowded junction, and while her driver struggled with the engine, Danielle sat fanning herself in the back seat. That was when she noticed a small girl darting between cars, a tray of groundnuts balanced on her head. Their eyes met for just a second, Favour's sharp, curious gaze meeting Danielle's tired, sad one. When Favour saw the rich girl's uniform, she whispered to herself, "If only I had that chance." Danielle, meanwhile, was struck by the way the street girl carried herself, not with pity, but with dignity. In that single glance, an invisible thread connected them, though neither knew how tightly it would bind their lives together. Later that day, as Favour returned to her corner by the church, Danielle slipped away from her driver and followed her. For the first time in her life, Danielle spoke to someone beneath her class. "Hi," she whispered nervously. Favour frowned, suspicious. "What does a rich girl like you want from me?" "I saw you with those books," Danielle admitted. "Do you know how to read?" Favour's face lit up. "A little. I'm teaching myself." Danielle hesitated, then confessed something she had never told anyone. "I'm rich, but I'm failing in school. I don't understand anything." In that quiet church corner, under the flickering candlelight, two girls from opposite worlds began a friendship that would defy everything their society believed. Every evening, Danielle returned in secret. With scraps of paper and borrowed pens, Favour began teaching her. "This is how you multiply," Favour explained one night, her small fingers guiding Danielle's trembling ones. Danielle laughed softly. "How does a street girl know so much?" Favour smiled with quiet pride. "Because I never stop learning." For the first time, Danielle felt understood. She was not mocked for her struggles, nor judged for her wealth. And Favour, who had always been invisible, was finally seen. Together they were teacher and student, but more than that, they were sisters of the soul. But their friendship was dangerous. If Mr. Williams ever discovered his daughter sneaking out to meet a common street child, there would be hell to pay. The mansion's guards were instructed to keep Danielle away from the riffraff. Yet she continued to slip through cracks in the walls of privilege, risking everything for those stolen hours with Favour. One evening, as Danielle returned home, her mother noticed the dirt on her shoes. "Where have you been?" she demanded. Danielle's heart raced, but she muttered, "Library project." It was a lie, and lies had a way of unraveling. Despite the risks, Danielle wanted to thank Favour. She brought her an old notebook and a pen, luxuries Favour had never owned. Favour clutched the items to her chest, tears in her eyes. "No one has ever given me a gift before," Danielle whispered. "You've given me more than you know. You're saving me." That night, Favour sat under the streetlight, scribbling notes furiously, dreaming of a day when she could sit in a real classroom. And for Danielle, her grades slowly began to improve. It was a miracle neither girl could explain. But secrets never stay hidden forever. One of the mansion's guards noticed Danielle sneaking out. He followed her one evening and saw her hugging Favour goodbye. That night, he whispered the story to Mr. Williams. The billionaire's face turned red with fury. "My daughter consorting with a street rat," he bellowed. His pride could not accept the idea that someone from the gutter could offer what his wealth could not. And in his anger, he vowed to crush this friendship before it grew any stronger. The next day, Mr. Williams confronted Danielle. "Where do you go every evening?" he demanded. Danielle trembled. "Nowhere important." "Don't lie to me," he roared. "I know everything. That girl is beneath you. If I ever see you with her again, I will make sure she disappears from this city." Danielle cried, begging him to understand, but Mr. Williams' pride blinded him. He could not see the light in Favour's eyes or the hope she carried. All he saw was a threat to his empire's image. Mr. Williams acted swiftly. The next day, police trucks raided the junction where Favour sold her groundnuts. She barely escaped with her life, her tray knocked into the dirt, her tiny savings scattered. Danielle watched from the car window, tears streaming as her father smirked. "This ends today." For weeks, Danielle was locked in her mansion, her phone confiscated, her outings monitored. And Favour, broken but unbowed, sat by the church steps every night, clutching the pen Danielle had given her, praying for a miracle. But fate has a way of weaving miracles from broken threads. At school, Danielle's teachers noticed her sudden brilliance. "What happened?" they asked. She wanted to tell them the truth, that a homeless girl had become her savior, but fear sealed her lips. Meanwhile, Favour began helping other street children with the little knowledge she had. "If I can't reach her," she whispered to herself, "I will still make this gift matter." And slowly, the girl no one cared about became the secret teacher of the streets. Months later, the national exam results were released. Danielle, once the laughingstock of her class, scored among the top 10 students in Lagos. The news spread quickly, reaching even the dusty corners of the junction. Favour smiled through her tears. "That's my Danielle." But when Mr. Williams heard the results, he grew suspicious. How could she leap from failure to brilliance overnight? He began to investigate, determined to uncover the truth Danielle had fought so hard to protect. One stormy night, Mr. Williams followed Danielle secretly. He watched in disbelief as she slipped through the rain, running to the church corner where Favour waited. He saw them embrace, heard Danielle whisper, "I couldn't have done it without you." His eyes widened as the truth struck him like lightning. The billionaire's daughter owed her success to a homeless street girl. His pride crumbled, replaced by something darker, a plan forming in his mind. And as thunder rumbled, Mr. Williams stepped forward, his shadow falling over both girls. To be continued. My people, what will happen now that the billionaire has discovered the truth? Will he destroy the bond between Favour and Danielle? Or will fate use this moment to change their lives forever? Don't miss part 2 of this unforgettable story. And remember, subscribe to The Gracious Voice so you don't miss what comes next.